What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. I've been away for a few days, had a cold, and my voice was all kind of messed up. And I'm actually glad that I didn't try to make a video, but something just recently went down. It appears that, according to Shinobi here on Twitter, that Warner Brothers Games is starting to basically highlight their main focus publicly, much more public than they have in the past. So, according to this post, Shinobi writes, it says, WB will focus on more live service games going forward. Then he quotes, our focus is on transforming our biggest franchises from largely console and PC based with 3 to 4 year release schedules to include more always on gameplay through live services, multi platform, and free to play. Extensions, with the goal to have more players spending more time on more platforms. Ultimately, we want to drive engagement and monetization of longer cycles and at higher levels. We've put specific capabilities. We're currently under scale and see significant opportunities to generate greater post-purchase revenue. So basically, they're saying here in this earnings call that they want to focus more on adding these elements to their games. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've been saying this. I've been saying this for a long time, and you've been seeing this for even much longer. We can go back and we can take a look at a few things. So let me basically walk you guys through a few, trends that would probably not surprise you. So here is this DSO Gaming article from 2018. This article, written by John Papadopoulos, says Warner Brothers follows Ubisoft's example, will move everything to games as a service. In an interview with GamesBeat, David Haddad, president of Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, revealed that the publisher plans to move everything to games as a service. This is the second publisher that invests as much into games as a service as possible, with Ubisoft already doing this with pretty much all of their franchises. So this is not news. This is just them coming out to tell investors like, hey, we are now going full gung-ho. There's not really going to be any game that we're going to put out there that's not going to have these elements. And so this is something that we should have actually been very aware of. And what fooled me was I thought that, these folk were probably trying to make something out of, their gaming experiences to seem unique. Because remember, they tried this thing even with a single player game. Do you guys remember Middle-earth Shadow of War? Do you guys remember when that game launched? It actually did have a store that provided the ability for you to buy time savers. Basically, they built the game to be grindy as heck, and then they had a store that could allow you to just buy stuff with cash. And that did not resonate well with a lot of people. In fact, that is probably one of the games that, I think for a lot of people, they called it, the fine line. This was 2017. A lot of companies were testing this live service thing as to how far they could actually go, or they were trying to desensitize people, because that was also the year where we saw the Star Wars debacle, the Battlefront 2 with Darth Vader and all the loot boxes being utterly ridiculous if you did not spend money. And even before then, FIFA had been netting, close to or even past $1 billion. We had Fortnite somewhere in the making, and it seemed like the whole field was ripe with some of these games. PUBG was coming out. So a lot of companies were testing these things out. And it seems like right now, the reality is starting to set in that a game like Gotham Knights, as many people that were saying, oh, this game was supposed to be a live service game and all, but, somewhere, somehow they decided that they didn't want to make it a live service game. I'm happy that the game did not turn out to be a full-blown live service game, but the game does have games as a service element, because it has the, in my opinion, the aspect of it that is co-op in terms of the multiplayer. But I think technical issues held the game back. I think because the PS4 version could not launch in the way that they designed it, they had to basically cut that out, which most likely cut back a lot of people who were looking forward to playing the game. Also being able to implement, crossplay before launch so that they could get all the existing players to play together. All those things just did not work out. And the game basically, in my opinion, is a really solid game and did not end up the Avengers way. What's going to end up the Avengers way right in front of everybody's eyes, or seemingly is moving to that direction, if not, maybe not even up to, is this game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Or even it's going to take another straight up live service format, and they're just skinning Warner Brothers products to be, basically have people play these games. It seems like they're not satisfied with the revenue that they're making from games like Mortal Kombat. and they don't want to build more on that. I think the strategy is right there for them. They're just wasting their time and their money. But, like I said in my tweet, I think this is actually a good thing because this is going to give room and give opportunity for those who actually want to come into the market. I said, good. Create room for competitors. So Warner Brothers and those who are making the decisions, by all means, man, go ahead and focus on the games that a lot of people may not necessarily want, when in reality you already have the formulas and you can merge them together. Now, I don't want to be an alarmist in this situation, if you get what I mean. I really want to be as fair as I possibly can be, because they didn't necessarily say they were not going to make any single player titles. This is another thing that you have to make sure that you read carefully. They're saying, though, that their focus is transforming their biggest franchises from largely console and PC based with 3 to 4 year release schedules to include more always on gameplay through live services, multi-platform and free-to-play extensions. So basically adding these elements across the board. So in some sense, it could be that they're giving basically what I've analyzed that they were going to do, which is, continue to make their single-player games, have elements that allow for those single-player games to have longevity in terms of continual play, and then go full on with some of their live service, IPs. There has to be a balance because you cannot throw away one market that is already profitable to try to, dip into another market. But at the same time, I see a lot of people thinking that this is news. This isn't news. We've known about this for a minute. So I just want to go ahead and share my thoughts. Thanks for watching. We'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.